You've seen various different reports in the news over the last couple of years. Probably Sony's the most high profile of those. And it's actually around not just data loss, but also damage to the company in terms of reputation, in terms of intellectual property. So what we want to do is we want to avoid that by taking advantage of some of the new hardware that's out there, taking advantage of TPM2, UFI, and actually leveraging that with things like Device Guard. Device Guard allow us to specify a assigned set of applications, and only those applications can run on the device. So even if I get a bit of malware that hits on my device, nothing on that within that malware can execute. Even if I've got local admin rights on that device, if it doesn't pass the Device Guard policy, that can't execute. And then we've got the hardware isolation. What we do is we take the local security model, the local security authority, and isolate it in a Hyper-V layer, which means that things like pass-the-hash attacks can't occur because they can't get to that security. Innovation. Innovation is something that Rob mentioned already. It's around things like Windows as a service, having a continually evolving operating system. Having a continually evolving operating system allows us to take advantage of new technology. So universal apps, having an app that runs across every device, and it will auto-scale across the different devices by taking advantage of continuum feature. The Windows Store. We've got the Windows Store, and some of you use Windows 8, will be familiar with that, but we're taking that one step further. We're taking that into the world of business. We're enabling access to what we call the Business Store through an Azure Active Directory account, which means only those users who've got an Azure AD account can access that part of the store. So you can curate apps from the free store, but you can also put your own universal apps in that store. And you can even download apps off that store and put them into offline usage, so users don't even need a connection to the internet to run these apps. The experience, best of both worlds. It might look a bit like we've taken Windows 7 and Windows 8 and just smashed them together. But actually what we've done is we've worked from a fundamental base. We've developed this technology to get the best of both worlds, but it's built from the ground up. And it's built from the ground up to take advantage of the new security features that are in there. Granular Ux Control is technology that we've taken from Windows Embedded, which allows us to lock a machine down in a type of kiosk mode. So I might only run a line of business app and a browser, for instance. They're the two things that run, and nothing else. The user can't access anything else on that device. Windows as a service, like I say, enables us to develop the software and grow as the world changes. We can't just sit back and release a new operating system every 4 years. We need the technology to grow. Windows as a service is about taking feedback from users. And this is all part of the Windows Insider program. Can I just see a show of hands? How many people are on the Windows Insider program? Okay, so that's a really good ratio. Windows Insider program is critical to the way Windows develops. If you look at Windows when we first released the betas last October and look at Windows today, it's quite a lot different. And it's different because of the feedback we got from the Windows Insiders. All those Windows Insiders gave us feedback around performance, around even things as small as where the power button should sit. For those of you that have been on the Insider program, you'll have seen the power button literally move all around the screen. And what we've done is we've taken telemetry from the Insider program to work out where the best place is. And it's now down in the bottom left-hand corner. But it's important that you participate in the Insider program because this allows you to give a voice to where Windows is going in the future. Within your businesses, get teams on Insider program because it will give you early visibility of the new features and functionality that's coming out so you can be prepared within the business as we move on to the branch modes. Productivity. I talked about the Windows Update for Business, but we've also got the ability to manage a Windows 10 device as an MDM device. The same level of control you get today with group policy, that can be put into an MDM policy. So whether you've got a domain-joined device or a mobile device, you can manage those devices to the same level of lockdown, the same level of control, no matter where they are. And we're tying automatic MDM enrollment into Azure. So when I join my machine into Azure, it can automatically enroll into my MDM technology. App compatibility is a big thing for us. I'm sure when you went from XP to 7, it was all really easy and you didn't have any issues around applications. I wish that was the case, but what we've found is that this is the biggest, most costly element in terms of migrating an operating system. So from now, we've really focused on how apps are compatible. And our operating system group in Redmond, they've done a lot of testing. We've literally tested thousands and thousands of applications. And what we're seeing is a 90 to 95% compatibility ratio of apps that run on 7 and 8 to apps that will run on 10. The sort of stuff that won't work are things like antivirus, things like VPN, or things that are tied into device drivers, the things that are running at a really low level. But generally, most of your applications should just work. And of course, from a web application point of view, we've got enterprise mode within IE11 to enable those legacy websites to still work, even in the new browsers that we brought out. Identity is really important. In this cloud-enabled world, having access into cloud applications, into data sources, into OneDrive, all of this is provisioned through your identity. So having an Azure Active Directory join, and then single sign-on. So I can single sign-on onto my device and get access into all the cloud applications that I need. And then we come on to how we go from XP to 7. We've got an in-place upgrade. In-place upgrade is the quickest and easiest way to get from 7 to 10. There's a gentleman in Seattle called Michael Niehaus. You may know him. He wrote a lot of our Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. Now, he's taken that learnings, and a lot of the functionality that's in MDT is now part of the Windows upgrade model. So when we go from 7 to 10, you're leveraging that ability to maintain all your user data, all your settings, all your applications. So that's the quickest and easiest way to get onto 10. But if you're already on 10, we've got this concept of dynamic provisioning. So I can take an existing Windows 10 device and just change it to a corporate build. Going from Pro to Enterprise on a device does not mean reinstalling the operating system. It's a change of licensing key. In fact, if you put a Windows 10 device on your network and you've got a KMS server that's issuing enterprise keys, it will automatically change to Windows Enterprise for you. So dynamic provisioning allows us to add content, allows us to add applications, and perform lockdown on the device. And new devices. We had a fairly big announcement this week. A fairly big announcement was around things like HoloLens. There was quite an impressive demo of HoloLens. There was also talk about where we're going with Surface. So obviously we've got the Surface 4, and I've got Surface 4 here. We've got new phones. Microsoft is committed to the phone business. And we've restructured, but we are committed to the phone business, and we'll have 3 different bands of phones, the high end, the medium, and the low end. We've also got the Surface Book. Unfortunately, we haven't got a Surface Book here to show you, but that is around taking laptops to the next stage, around giving me that functionality for touch and enabling it in a laptop form size with the associated power that you get from that. So reducing the number of devices is key here. I can get a Surface and maybe I can get rid of my tablet. But actually what I could also do is use a phone and potentially get rid of my tablet or even my PC in some instances. So I'm going to show you Continuum in a bit about how we can use the phone as a PC. We're not saying it's going to replace all of your PCs, but for certain scenarios, it's a great example of how to reduce the number of devices that are within your business and take that cost out of your business. And then we come to, we talked about the UX control, but then we come to things like HoloLens, Surface Hub. HoloLens is, we've announced that we're now doing developer kits for HoloLens. Surface Hub is something that we're seeing huge amounts of take-up for. Some of the learnings that we've had from Xbox around directional microphones and using the cameras has been built directly into Surface Hub. So I can have a 55 or an 84-inch Surface Hub, and it's got Skype enabled directly in it. I can have people interacting on that hub. I can have multiple people all writing on the screen at the same time. And I can have people in different locations writing on their screen, and it's all collaborative, so it's all showing in the same spot. So these new form factors are enabled through our technology that we're introducing with Windows 10. And as I said, as part of the Windows as a service model, this is going to grow and evolve and become better. So Windows 7, Windows 10. A lot of people say to me, so Windows 7, are you saying Windows 10 has got all this good security? Are you saying Windows 7 isn't secure? Windows 7 was secure. It was secure when it came out, 8 years ago. The fact is that the world has changed. Moving from the sort of bedroom hackers to your criminals, even to the sort of direct damage type attacks, the sort of state-sponsored attacks that maybe Sony incorporated. So what we've done is we've looked at the different factors that are part of Windows 7 and looked at how we can improve them. Identity, looking at Hello, looking at Passport. Data protection. We've had BitLocker for a while now, but it's more than just BitLocker. It's about encrypting the disk automatically and then providing a level of encryption on top of that. Threat resistance. We've got Defender built into Windows 10. So it's an antivirus solution that's part of Windows 10. We at Microsoft don't use third-party antivirus solutions. The stuff that we've got as part of the operating system covers us, and we're the second most attacked organization in the world. But antivirus is just part of it. It's about having a fully patched system. It's about having a managed system. And it's about having controls in place that prevent stuff from getting onto that system. And that's where things like Device Guard come into play and the hardware-based isolation. And then the new technology that we got from people like Intel around UFI, TPM2, that's all leveraged to form the basis of things like Device Guard. So we need that technology to enable the new security features. So I just wanted to sort of expand a bit on what enterprise data protection actually means. This is a real sort of improvement to us in terms of what we can do on the Windows platform. Enterprise data protection will be across all the Windows 10 platforms, and it enables us to stay a containerized approach to data on that device. Only our trusted apps can access that container. And we determine what goes into that container by defining source points. So, for example, OneDrive for Business would be a source point. My Windows file servers would be a source point. My Exchange servers would be a source point. But stuff outside of that wouldn't be a source point that could then participate in that container. So this protection is across our mobile devices, across our tablets, and across our desktops. So just to step you through how this actually works, we've got a device here, and I've got a document that I've defined as business. So click on this. When I open this document, I try and paste it into Twitter, it tells me pasting content is not allowed. However, there may be scenarios where I do need to do that. So in which case, I'm saying, we're going to let you paste this content, but you need to tell us why you're going to do it. So we then audit what happens in this scenario to control where that data goes when it's going outside of the container. So I also want to talk a bit about the deployment side of things. One of the great things about our continuous innovation, I've talked a lot about this, But all of these factors come together to enable our mobile users. So this is a machine. Let's say I go into PC World, I buy a machine off the shelf. I take it out of the box, and this is the out-of-box experience of Windows 10. So it says to me, what network are you going to connect to? It's recognized it's a Windows Pro machine, so it's saying, are you going to use this for business? So it says, I click yes, and it's, we're going to give you a bit of warning about what's going to happen to this device. So at which point I put in my Azure AD account. And once I've done that, it then pulls down the branding from the cloud. It pulls down this message around help desk coming down from the cloud. I put my password in, and then it's using multi-factor authentication to validate my identity to make sure I am who I am.